Hi, my name is Dori Hillestad Butler, and I'm the author of a brand new chapter book series called Dear Beast, which was published by Holiday House. It's an epistolary series, which means the stories are told in the form of letters, and it's basically about a cat and dog who learn to share a boy named Andy, who goes back and forth between them and his recently divorced parents. This is Simon the cat. Simon has been with Andy's family for many years. He lives at Andy's mom's house, and he's a very good cat. He's calm, he's serious, he's educated, and he's very good at spelling. This is Baxter. Baxter is brand new to the family. He just moved in with Andy's dad, and as you can tell, he's a little excitable. He's all about having fun, and spelling does not come as easily to him as it does to Simon. Like kids who are learning how to write, Baxter uses invented spelling. I had some help from a reading specialist on that. I wanted to make sure that Baxter's invented spelling was realistic and also that kids could read it. One of my favorite things about this book is the fact that it has a doggy dictionary in the back. So if you are having trouble figuring out what Baxter's trying to say, you can look up the word in the dictionary in the back of the book. As you might imagine, Baxter and Simon have very different ideas about what their boy Andy needs in a pet, and that's the subject of most of their letters. Letters that are, of course, delivered by snail mail. When I visit schools, kids often ask me, "What's your favorite book that you've written?" And I always tell them that's like asking me to choose between my children. I don't play favorites among my children or my books. Each of my children is special for different reasons, and it's the same with my books. Well, until Dear Beast came along. I have to admit, this series is very near and dear to my heart for several reasons. One, it was illustrated by Kevin Atterbury. It's rare for author and illustrator to know each other going into a project. But not only do Kevin and I know each other, we're good friends, and we're in the same critique group. Two, Dear Beast involves letter writing, which is a passion of mine. I love writing letters. I love receiving letters, and I enjoy reading published collections of letters. Sadly, I think letter writing is becoming a bit of a lost art. I had my first pen pal when I was 6 years old. Her name was Cheryl, and she lived in Australia. She had the most beautiful handwriting, and she used to write to me on thin, tissue-like paper that I was always afraid I was going to tear. One of her favorite things to do was play netball, which I'd never heard of. She told me how tall she was in centimeters rather than feet. When it was summer at my house, it was winter at her house. All of that was fascinating to me. It was fun to discover through the years that we corresponded just how much we had in common and what about our lives was different. I think we learned a lot from each other. Cheryl opened my young eyes to the idea that there was a big, beautiful world out there full of so many interesting people. Believe it or not, I've had more than 100 pen pals throughout my life from 80 different countries, and I've only met 2 of them in person. The third reason Dear Beast holds a special place in my heart is it was inspired by a real cat. A few years ago, my then 23-year-old, who happens to be named Andy, adopted a cat who happens to be named Simon. The first time Andy came over after adopting Simon, our dog Mouse went nuts. This is Mouse. He is a 103-pound golden retriever mix, so not much of a mouse. Anyway, I could tell that Mouse could smell Simon on Andy, and I started imagining what he might say to Simon if he could talk to him, or write a letter. And then I realized, hey, that could be a book, and that's where Dear Beast began. Believe it or not, Andy adopted Simon from Kevin Atterbury. Yes, the Kevin Atterbury who illustrated the book. Because this whole project began with a cat we both knew, Kevin was the perfect person to illustrate it. This really is my grandkitty, Simon. I hope you enjoy Dear Beast, and if you do, look for books 2 and 3, which come out next year, and book 4, which comes out in 2022. Thanks for watching. Bye.